local farmer's market to see if I can get some late summer, early fall produce to put up for the winter months when my farmer's market is closed. That way I can enjoy the produce for the rest of the season. Let's go see what I can find. Can you tell me a little bit about what some of these are?
Yeah, these are rattlesnake beans.
Okay, rattlesnake beans. I really want to make some pickles.
They stay really crunchy.
That's like the most important thing with pickles. And okra too, I love to pickle okra. Whenever I'm pickling okra, I like to get the smaller pods. These bigger ones don't fit in my jars and they tend to be a little bit more tough. So I asked her if she could pick out a couple of the smaller ones for me.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are y'all? So these are butter beans.
Yes.
Pink eye?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Crowder or zipper?
Same thing.
And lady peas?
Yes, ma'am.
Love them. Okay, which ones are your favorite?
Now, this is my favorite.
That's my favorite too.
Okay, that's what we grew up on.
These are pink eye purple hull peas. They come in a long bean like we've seen maybe in some of the longer beans, and you have to sit there and shell them. And I used to do it with my grandma on the porch. They said they have pea shellers, which I do not envy those shellers at all. This took a lot of hard work to get this many peas, but they're gonna be so, so good. These are the first pears that I've seen. I was really excited whenever I saw these pears because I really wanted to make some pear preserves. Thank you. Every time I come to my local farmer's market, I always like to get a bunch of fresh flowers to take home and put in a vase. These are late summer, early fall flowers, and they'll be perfect for my house. Y'all, I got some fresh pears to make some pear preserves or pear honey, some okra and some rattlesnake beans that I'm really excited to go home and pickle, and I've got these fresh flowers that are gonna be beautiful as a centerpiece in my house. Let's get home and get in the kitchen and start cooking. Canning can be super intimidating, but I'm gonna show you a really easy way to make canning fun at home. All you have to have is a really big pot to fill up with boiling water. You need a rack to put in the bottom of your pot so that your jars don't touch the bottom of the pot whenever they're boiling. The first thing we need to do is bring some vinegar, salt, water, and crushed red pepper to a boil. This is 6 cups of distilled white vinegar. I'm also gonna add some canning and pickling salt. It doesn't have additives in it like iodine, and it doesn't have anti-caking ingredients, and that stuff will cloud up your pickle recipe. And then I have some crushed red pepper. I'm gonna grab my fresh okra that I got at the farmer's market, some rattlesnake beans that we picked up, and for that awesome dill flavor in these pickles, I have some fresh dill sprigs. I like to take them out of the clamshell that they come in the grocery store, and immediately when I get home, I put them in a mason jar with a little bit of water, and you can keep this on your counter or in your fridge, and they'll stay fresher a lot longer than they do in those clamshell packages. I'm gonna get these jars into my water while it's coming up to a boil so they're staying warm while my vegetables are being prepped, because you don't want the jars to have thermal shock. I like to get okra pods that are about 4 inches in length so they fit right down into those half-pint jars. If they don't fit, then I like to snip the tops of the pods off. Since I'm using this same brine for my okra and my green beans, I'm gonna go ahead and get those prepped too. And these rattlesnake beans, all you need to do is kind of snip the ends off and peel the strings off. These strings, no one really ever wants to eat them. They're super tough. And with the jar still warm, I'm gonna pack in my beans. I'm gonna add 1 clove of garlic, and I'm gonna smash it just so that it adds a little bit more flavor. I'm gonna do a couple of slices of a Fresno chili, and this adds a little bit of flavor, but I'm mostly doing it for color. I'm gonna use just enough vinegar to fill up the jar to the 1/2 inch headspace. I'm doing the same thing with my okra pods that I did with my green beans. I'm gonna pack them as tight as I can get them into this 1/2 pint mason jar. The last thing I'm gonna do before putting the lids on these jars is get in a few sprigs of fresh dill to pack down into the jars. Not only does dill add a great flavor to these pickles, it also just makes the jars so pretty whenever they're sitting on your shelves. The most important thing whenever you're canning, y'all, is to use new lids. Old lids that have been used more than one time won't seal properly, so always buy new lids. Now I'm gonna use my rings to tighten the lids just to finger tight. Once I get all of my jars in there, I'm gonna set my timer for 10 minutes. I got them out of the boiling water, and I'm gonna put them on this rack undisturbed for 24 hours so the seal can be really tight. I'm gonna get started on my pear preserves. So I went ahead and chopped these pears up last night and soaked them with some sugar in the refrigerators. I'm also gonna get 1 lemon to juice to help balance the acidity of these super sweet pears. Normally I would do this with a spatula, but I just like to get in there with my fingers. My trick for juicing lemons to not get the seeds in there, if you don't want to use a strainer and dirty up another dish, I like to squeeze my lemon juice over my hand so the seeds fall into my fingers and the juice can seep through. I'm starting to make sure my lemon juice is combined with my pears and my sugar. I'm gonna cover it and bring it up to a boil. When my pears came up to a boil, I'm giving them a stir to make sure that all of my sugar is dissolved. Now I'm going to reduce my heat, put my lid back on, and let this simmer for about an hour to an hour and a half until my pears are tender and there's a nice caramel color. I'm gonna fill these jars up, leaving a 1/4 inch room of headspace. This recipe is for pear preserves. You can do this with apples, you can do it with berries, really any fruit. That's it. I'm gonna get these tops on and process them the same way that I did my okra and my beans. 10 minutes in the boiling water and then out 24 hours undisturbed on the counter. Y'all, look at this spread. I've got last year's pear preserves and last year's pickled okra that I'm using so I can make room for the new stuff that I made on my shelves. I also made my pear preserves and put them into some frozen phyllo dough to make cute little tarts for dessert. I paired my okra with some cheese and some meat as well as the pear preserves for a really pretty charcuterie board for entertaining. I'm gonna enjoy this now and I can't wait to enjoy it for the rest of the season. Bye y'all.